Good morning, brothers. Welcome back. Brother Chris Capps, could I get you to offer a prayer for the session this morning?
Our Father and our God, we come before you this morning seeking your guidance and praising your name. Lord, you have brought us to this point, and we know that you're in charge, and that's never going to change. We come today and just ask that your Spirit would guide and direct us. I pray that our ears and our eyes would be open to see those things that you would lead us to do, and bless us with your Spirit, that we might be surrounded by your love and your peace and your joy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Mark, for my information, can you put the number of elders we have online down here just for my information, please? Thank you, Brother Chris. Welcome, everybody. Before we get started on the business meeting, I'd like Brother Jason to read a resolution from our 2024 conference. I feel like we passed some things and we forget what we said 2 years or 3 years ago, 2 years ago. So I'd like him to read that for us just for our information.
Okay. This was resolution number 6 as amended and passed on April 11th, 2024. Whereas the Lord spoke to his priesthood at Kirtland on September 24, 2022, to be willing to remove all barriers and hindrances to the achievement of Zion. And whereas the restoration suffers from loss of membership in part from division caused by contention, distrust, and broken fellowship. And whereas the Conference of Restoration Elders is an advisory and support organization to bring solidarity to a growing number of restoration branches and Latter-day Saints in general during this period of disruption and fragmentation. And whereas the conference is not the church, and whereas for the past 40 years we have been in a dark and cloudy day like the period between 1844 to 1852 when the church existed wherever a body of 6 or more members gathered under the direction of either Melchizedek or Aaronic priesthood members. And whereas it is individuals who make up the body of the Conference of Restoration Elders rather than the branches, be it resolved that the Conference of Restoration Elders reflect the direction in which the Lord has desired that we be willing to remove all barriers and hindrances to the achievement of Zion when considering the brotherhood of all restoration groups who have remained faithful to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Be it further resolved that we continue to seek clear direction from the Lord and not move forward with divisive action that could hinder the work going forward. Until further direction is received, we choose to patiently listen, anticipating future instruction from the Lord in these dark and cloudy days.
Thank you. And just a brief testimony. If you remember what happened at that conference with this resolution, those of you that were there, this was passed on one of those 49 to 50 votes, which completely defeated the purpose of the resolution. And so those that voted for it voted to bring it back to the floor so that we can discuss it and amend it to where everybody was in agreement with it. And after laboring together, it was passed unanimously. And when the unanimous vote came to pass this, the Spirit of God flowed over me and reminded me of the power of working together and coming together and not trying to force through divisive issues. So let's keep that in mind, what we resolved to do in 2024. Let's labor together. Let's be charitable with each other and do everything in love and to the honor and glory of God. I appreciate your time in that. I'm going to, if it's okay with everybody, for the agenda today, I'm going to move the quorum reports to the beginning, so that we can hear what the quorum's discussed, and then later on when we get to new business we can act on whatever they wanted to bring to the floor. So we'll start with quorum number 1.
Jay Havener for quorum number 1. I asked the quorum what direction they wanted to take, and they wanted to discuss the resolutions. And in particular, quorum 1 felt that the substitute resolution held the most meat, and that's the one they wanted to discuss. Overall, the quorum was quite favorable to Resolution 1. There were some things that they brought up that was of minor concern. I'll share some of those with you. They were concerned about if the name of the conference is changed, about the C3 status. One of the suggestions that came that would make that less onerous a task would be just to, if we do change the name of the conference, to list it as a DBA under the current organization name. And that's something that's less of an effort than changing all the paperwork. And we've done that quite a bit in Michigan. So the other thing was that they was uncomfortable with some terminology, pro tem and executive council. The feeling of the quorum was, why can't we just leave it as chairman and coordinating council? They, in essence, are the same function. And then the other issue for the substitute resolution was the name that was given for the conference in the resolution. They were not pleased with that name. They made a couple of suggestions. Probably the most succinct was Conference of Restoration Branches Ministry. There was a longer one, Church of Jesus Christ Ministries to the Restoration Branches. But as a whole, we found the resolution workable. We found that the direction that it was taking was a wise direction. And so we did spend most of the time discussing that resolution, and we were aware that the resolution is just the beginning, that if that's adopted, you know, there's a lot of work to do to bring fruit out of that. So we had a good discussion about that.
Thank you. Quorum 2?
Mike Stevenson, representing Quorum 2. I was the secretary. Don Norman was chosen the chairman. We did not come to any conclusions about any of our discussions, but we did have a good discussion. Our discussion was focused exclusively on the substitute resolution. We did not discuss the original at all. And we discussed some possible changes in some wording and in the organizational chart. Where the word registered branches was used, we felt more comfortable with using recognized branches to remove the stigma of an organized body. And then on the organizational chart on the back, we had some concerns about the fact that since this is an organization of elders, there was no provision for an elders council on here. So we inserted a Melchizedek council with two subdivisions of the missionary ministry and the standing ministry, and designated two chains of thought there. But we didn't really come to any conclusions. We did have a good discussion. We felt that this topic deserves more prayer and fasting before we could come to a conclusion.
Thank you. Quorum 3?
I'm Rich Rowland. We representing Quorum 3. Dan Schwartz was our chairman. I had a pen and paper, so I got to be the scribe. So we had a lengthy discussion about both of the resolutions. that were presented to us. At the end of the day, we felt resolution number 1 probably better represented our vision for the future, with some amendments to that. We had discussions about in the first resolution, the name or the designation of CRM. If we're really trying to distance or gain some distance from the CRE, that perhaps another name would better service that purpose. We added a section, or desired to add a section in the resolved category that more specifically spelled out what was actually changing in the new organization, and specifically that it was no longer an elder's body, but it would be a body of the ministries. And we too, I think Jay mentioned issues with if we're going to rename things, what that would do to our 501(c) situation. And we wondered, also we questioned about how this change would impact the perception from the outside of allowing ministry from what we call factional groups in their participation, how we would deal with that. And then ultimately, would this new organization fulfill our scriptural admonition for elders' gatherings, and how that might be resolved or better done. And so at the end of the day, we discussed those things and actually produced a new or a revised version of amendment or resolution 1, provided that to Jason and I think to Jeremy. And so if we're going to move forward, that would be the one that we would recommend moving forward with.
Okay. The Aaronic/Members Quorum met together yesterday.
Benji Pedersen on behalf of the Members Quorum /Aaronic. We started off by praising the Lord, talking about how the Jaredites, as they were crossing on their barges, they praised the Lord through their storm, and I feel like we're in the midst of a storm. We should do more praising the Lord. We started off, each one of us, sharing some of the things that we're looking forward to. You know, we're in the midst of our storm. What happens at the end? What are those things that are inspiring us to keep going? And so we talked about the power of God being poured out, unworldly things happening in the church amongst us as God shows forth his power. We talked about the unity, the great endowment, dreams and visions, direct revelations from the Lord, sacred temple lot fulfilled, God humbling his people, Zion, power of the Holy Spirit, fullness of the gospel being preached throughout the world. Many things that helped get us refocused on what this work that we're a part of is about. Some of the thoughts that were shared before we discuss the resolutions, before we move forward, we need to be on our knees praying. And have we reconciled or attempted reconciliation as directed last year? Those are some questions that were asked in our conversation. The proposed resolution number 1, the first one was what we discussed. There was a thought shared that same name, or a different name doesn't fix the organization. And so wondering what that might do for us, if it would really help us accomplish some of the things we're intending. We did like the intent to refocus and state what we are attempting to do as an organization of refocusing on the missionary ministry efforts. So we did have some other questions on that, but I want to skip to our conversation on proposed substitute resolution number 1. We did have a question about what a registered branch is, and how do you become a registered branch? What happens if you are a ministry or a mission where you do not have an organized branch? Are those groups and peoples allowed to participate? If you are in a branch where your group does not support this new organization, do you have the opportunity to come and participate if your branch doesn't? So those are some questions that we were concerned about, and what the word meant, and how there would need to be more conversation and maybe even some more words to clarify. Another question on part number 3 of that resolution. We are only a portion of Christ Church. We were wondering, are we saying that that there are other groups that are a part of that, or I can't remember the exact conversation, but trying to describe what that means to us. I viewed that as maybe acknowledging that we are not the church. I think that's kind of what it was saying. We are not the entire church. We're not trying to say we are the church, but wondering how broadly that was expanded. So there was some discussion on that, trying to figure out what that was, and we felt it was maybe a little vague. Could need some clarity on that. There was some discussion about ordering those bullet points, and so we could talk about that if we move forward. We talked about it could appear as a step toward organizing, and it feels, in some mind, it felt similar to some of the organizations that have come out of the CRE, and not just for the perception here amongst those that come, but to those that are observing the Conference of Elders, and wondering what path we will take going forward. There was a question looking at the attachment and the organization chart. Do we have willing servants who are willing to step into those roles? There are quite a few roles, but there were many that were required of the elders. And so if we move forward with this, are we ready to support that? And as elders, step into that responsibility and throw our weight behind it. The suggestion was to spend time praying and fasting as a conference about these, and to be sure that we are focusing on sharing the gospel and winning souls. And we should do more with other groups that are outside the Restoration Branch movement, and to focus what we have on the restored gospel and preaching that the restored gospel that we've been given through the Book of Mormon and the Doctrine and Covenants and the Inspired Version. So I think that summarizes what the members' quorum had talked about.
Thank you. I'd like to move on to, we've got some names to add to the credentialing list. Yes. Oh, yes. Did everybody get a copy of the minutes? Do we need to approve the minutes? Is that, okay. Everybody have a copy of the minutes? They're out there on the, Brother Don, could I get you to grab the stack of minutes out there on the table? Who needs a copy? Okay, keep your hands up so he can see you. So everybody has a copy of the minutes in front of them. On the back of that would be the list of credentialed elders as well. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes, or are there any corrections that we need to make?
Jason, did we add the names that were mentioned here? I don't see like my dad's name on this list.
I haven't seen the list, but.
Yeah, he's on there. He's on the back of that page.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize when it was on the back. Thank you. Good job, Jason.
Any other questions about the minutes? Entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Moved by Jay Havener, seconded by Jack Hagenson. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes. Online, sorry. We have 4 elders online. There's no opposition online. We do have 5 names from the credentialing committee to present to you, to add to the list.
Dale Wilson, Sean Turner, Jim Hobbs. John Mundy was one of the 5 that you made, and Bob Bobbitt was mentioned yesterday as well, but I don't know if he made it to the list, so we'll make sure he's on there. So I have 4.
Show of hands for approval to add these names to the list. Okay. We had tabled from yesterday the missionary board financial reports. I'd like to bring that to the floor now. If any of the missionary boards present would like to speak to their budgets. Brother Brian?
Sean Turner, the treasurer of ARM, asked me to present the ARM budget for you. There is one change that they would like to have you submit, go ahead and correct on your page 6. Under Tanzania, they would like to increase the local budget from 500 to 1,500. But anyway, it's page 6, 7, and 8. I don't know, on page 8, Jeremy, it's got the 161, which is different than the 166, so I don't know which number to go by there. But that would be if it needs to be changed, we wanted to let you know about that too.
So the beginning balance carried over from last year, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the 161, is that correct, or is it the 167?
The 167 is what the bank says.
Okay, so on page 8, the top number there, 161,281, if you would change that to 166, 177.24. 166, 177.24. There are 2 items on that page that the board is going to meet with Doug and Eric and make decisions about. The Kenya Retreat Center is still in a negative balance, and the Kenya Storehouse. And so they're going to address those things and try to get that balanced out. But anyway, that is the ARM budget.
Thank you. A motion to approve the ARM budget. Brother Bill? So moved by Brother Bill Barrett. A second? Don Norman. I'm sorry. As amended. So move as amended, yeah. Second by Don Norman. All in favor? Show of hands. Any opposition? Okay. Yes.
I know I've asked this before, but I'm old and I forget. These restricted funds, what can we do? It just seems like they're sitting there and nothing's going on with them, and I'm seeing balances that are negative. Why can't we move those funds? I understand that people want certain projects, but if the projects aren't happening, why can't that money be moved?
It's not shown to you there, but there's a sheet that there's income and expenses on a whole bunch of those things. There are some of them that is not that have been on there, like the Kenya headquarters, national headquarters. There's been a long time one on there that's kept a balance. The Swahili Book of Mormons, but they're going to be probably printing some more of those. But anyway, most of those are being used. And so it's income and expenses that are not being seen. All we're showing is the ending balance.
Brother Richard, do you want to cover the SEAM?
Yep. So the statement is what it is, and you can look it over and ask any questions, even at another later time in the conference with me personally. But what I want to rise to is that we have a bit of sensitivity towards the missionary work in other lands. Because when you set budgets and that kind of thing, what we're used to here, if there is a natural disaster, we're used to insurance companies getting involved. And I know we have some people from other lands who are on have hooked up to us on the live stream. And that's not the way it works in other lands. This past year we had, and get this, I'm thinking it's a 7.6 earthquake that was near our Maragusan branch. It damaged the church building, damaged several of the homes. Now, fortunately, within the Philippines, in a 15-month period, we had 4 teams go over. I was on 2 of them. We did, this past January, just a couple months ago, we looked at the damage. We estimate we've been able to raise the money, and I will be sending that over there this week. They will be able to do the work. What the money is for the materials. And there's also then some things that, in terms of cultures and that kind of thing, is that, to be honest, this is a little bit of educating, because what we would understand in terms of how we set budgets in the United States is a bit different. And so another area would be funerals. In the Philippines, it's not unusual for funerals to go on 10 days. There'll be a service every day, and if you're there, I've on one occasion had 4 of the services during that period of time. But it's also costly, and we're also talking about third world people, and there's not going to be any life insurance. And so what I'm getting at is that we set the budget, but for natural disasters and other types of calamities that could come upon the people, is we have to then, during the course of the year, make adjustments. So, for example, if you look at, and you don't have to, I just go with what I'm saying, is that the proposed for this coming year was, in terms of that $5,100 in January, is that's going to be affected there. So that when you see, because what we're used to is you see in budget is that, oh, well, oblation, you gave this much, and how come it's $8,000 more this coming year? Well, I've been there 18 times, and I was in an earthquake where the ground was shaking under our feet, and there were people that were killed and that kind of thing. And so it just doesn't work that way. So if you're looking at these budgets from other nations, and you try to think of it in the American mindset, I just want to make you aware that it doesn't quite work that way. And that would be true with all international places. So again, it is what it is. We have been blessed in SEAM. We have a scholars program that goes on. We have educated over 100 students, and that affects 5 generations. So the good things are happening. We've been able to be financed thus far. Here's your record. Look at it. If you have any questions, come see me. Does anybody have a question right now? I just wanted to give that background information.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the SEAM budget? Brother Ray moves, Jay Havener seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? Passes. Do we have somebody to present the gym budget? Brother John, did you want to talk to the gym budget? Do you have anything to say about the gym budget? Nothing. Read it. It's right there. Read it before. Okay. Do we have any discussion about the gym budget? Entertain a motion to approve it. Brother John moves and Brother Ray seconds. All in favor? Any opposition? It carries. FSM, do you want to talk about that?
Brother, I'll be fairly quick. You can see what our actuals have been for this year. We break down our givings through just periodic givers, which we call FSM income. That's $6,400 this past year. And then we have individuals throughout the church who regularly donate to Freedom Stewardship, and that balance was $17,650 this year. The dispersed income line would simply be loan payments back from the people that have borrowed money from us in the past. So that was $73,492. Our general expenses were higher this year than they've usually been because our computer died on us and we had to buy a new computer and software that was related to that. So as you can see, next year we don't expect that to be as high. Distributed funds would be our loan proceeds. The average family that we loan money to is, I would say, probably about $20,000. So you can see what we loaned out. And then most of the younger generation, of which I'm not a part anymore, usually makes their loan payments online, and we have WePay transactions, which we charge back to the borrowers. They actually pay those, but we reflect them here because we have to originally pay them. So you can see our summary there. We ended the year with a balance of $97,828. Our proposed budgets are a little bit of a shot in the dark for us. We are showing $10,000 and $25,000 in donations and $60,000 in loan payments. 9 of our families, I mentioned the other day, 9 of the 33 we finance are fully repaid now. So our loan payments are falling a little bit. Expenses we're showing at $15,000 and loans $100,000 this coming year. So any questions about the FSM budget? Thank you, brothers, for your support.
Entertain a motion to approve the FSM. Dale Stafford moves, Paul Edwards seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? It passes. I'd like to move on now to nominations to the councils. Mark, can you put up the current nominations list? And I have a few to add to that also that came in recently. Looks like I have one to add to that. Add add Stephen Henson to the Aaronic quorum. Oh, he's up there. Okay, you got it. We'll take this one council at a time. We'll start with the coordinating council, and if you turn to, what page is it? Section 3 on page 3, you will see the current councilmen, those councils, the members of those councils, and how many spaces we need to fill. So with the coordinating council, we need a total of 5 nominations, and we have 3. So we need at least 2 more nominations for the coordinating council. Brother Doug? And then Brother Richard?
I'd like to nominate where is he? Brother Brotherton.
Val Brotherton?
Val Brotherton.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Brother Richard?
He told me to be okay, but I don't see him here to say.
Yeah, I mentioned to you I would be willing to serve again. However, let's see what we have to nominate.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other nominations? We need one more at least to fill the quorum, or the council? And we have one that said he's willing, so if we don't have anybody else, somebody can nominate him. Jay Havener nominates Richard Neal. Are there any more nominations for the coordinating council? I'm sorry. I should have started with chairman. Forgive me for that. I didn't intentionally bypass that. So we'll go to now chairman. We close the nominations for the coordinating council. Do we have any nominations? We currently have Jeremy Stevenson nominated for chairman of the conference. Do we have any other nominations? Brother Eric?
Elder Bob Dixon.
Elder Bob Dixon for chairman?
No.
Oh.
I thought you are.
Oh, for coordinating council? That's fine. Mark, can you add Bob Dixon to the coordinating council nominations?
Okay, and I'm willing to step away.
Okay.
As you would have noted with the visual in the back, that there were enough nominations.
Richard Neal would like to remove his name from the list. Any other nominations for coordinating council? We will then move back again to the chairman. Are there any other nominations for the chairman? And I forgot to check online. Were there any, Mark, were there any nominations online for coordinating council? The reason I forgot to check online is because I closed that screen. Okay, so we will move on then to the domestic, the domestic outreach? Yes. Yes, I'm sorry. Forgive me. So we do need to fill the secretary and entertain nominations for the secretary.
Nominate Brother Jason.
Vim,
This is so much fun, I think someone else needs a turn. But thank you.
Jason declines the nomination. Any others?
Over here. You have his hand up?
No, he's pointing to the screen. He's conferring privately. Okay, well, think about that. We'll come back to it. Treasurer, we currently have Ray Lane as a treasurer with David Webster as the assistant. Brother Ray? Ray nominates David Webster. Any other nominations for treasurer? Okay. Assistant treasurer? Did you want to say that louder? Ray Lane's been nominated for assistant treasurer.
Nobody else says I'll be working with David anyway.
Okay. Okay. Ray accepts that nomination. That would be a good transition, in my opinion. But I'm supposed to remain neutral, so forget I said that. Any other nominations for assistant treasurer? Oh, Doug Smith nominated Ray Lane. Mark? Seeing no other nominations, we will move on to historian. Any nominations for historian? Doug Smith nominates Danny Height. Ray, did you have another one? Well, he's here. Are you good with that? He's good with that. Okay. And then the corporate officers are automatically the chairman, secretary, and treasurer, if I remember correctly. Okay. All right. So now we can move on to the domestic outreach council. Yes.
Can we go back to chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Jeremy.
Hey, I'm already up there.
I didn't see it up
At
there.
the very top. He might have scrolled past me already. Yep, there I am.
I see you on the coordinating council.
No, look to the right of it. It says
I'm sorry, I misread.
conference chairman.
I misread it.
Okay. Thank you, though. I can only serve it one at a time, though.
Brother Chairman, in terms of the secretary position, generally there's not any activity for the secretary during the year. And since the officers are in a separate category, we have not automatically, assumed people were moved to those. We have just done that as a practice. So if it might make it easier to move forward, I would certainly entertain a nomination for president for the one that's elected chairman, treasurer for the one who's elected chairman, but secretary we could have as a separate name if that will allow someone to have their name stand for the corporate secretary.
So then the conference secretary would just serve during the conference.
They have to, they're elected each,
Yeah.
conference anyway, so,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So at which point we could, if we had to, elect him next year.
Right, but we do need to find
Yeah.
a secretary for the corporate.
The corporate secretary. Okay. Did everybody catch what Brother Vim was saying? That we could entertain a separate nomination for conference. We could leave the conference secretary open until next year if we had to. But we do need a corporate secretary.
Which is more or less a placeholder.
More or less a placeholder. They would be on the bank account signature card. So while we're talking about that, has any names come to mind for secretary?
I would nominate Mike Stevens.
Mike Stevenson been nominated by Vim Horn. Do you accept? For secretary.
Corporate secretary.
Now, question, I know that somebody on the coordinating council cannot serve on another council. Can they serve as the secretary?
It's not a council, it's the officers of the corporation.
Because he's been nominated for the coordinating council. Okay, so Mike Stevenson nominated by Vim Horn for the corporate secretary. Okay, now we can move on to domestic outreach, if there's no other nominations for secretary. Do we have 2 slots open, 3 if Mike Stevenson is accepted on the coordinating council. So we need 3 nominations to fill that council. And we have 1 for Jay Havener. Brother Brian?
We are not sure if, because this kind of fluctuates from year to year, so we may reduce our regions down and reduce it, but anyway, if that's the case, we will take anybody that's extra, make them an assistant to a particular region. But Buck Andrews offered to be on the domestic outreach too, so I'll throw his name out there too.
So Brian Monday nominates Buck Andrews. So we don't necessarily have to have 9 names, is what you're saying, Brian? Okay. Any other nominations for domestic outreach? Seeing none. What's next on your list, Mark? Education Council. We have 3 openings, but here again, Brother David Joyce was nominated to the coordinating council, so that would be 4, or no, he's nominated, so we have only 2 nominations if he's elected to the coordinating council. Brother Dale?
Well, just back up, domestic, if you need a 9th person, I would be willing to serve again.
Okay.
With the notion that my wife's going to I'll be out for about 2 months or 3 months with my wife's surgeries, but I have served in the past, but I'm not saying I have to, but I'm willing to if you need another spot.
So Dale is willing to serve on the council still. Nominated by Bob Dixon. Dale Stafford, nominated by Bob Dixon. So Education Council, we need 3 nominations to fill that council. We have 2. It shows 3, but as I said, he's also nominated for the coordinating council. Brother Vim?
Yeah, again, the number 5 it's not limited to 5, it actually could be up to 7. We would certainly like whoever would be wanting to serve on the Education Council to join in that effort. It's a big effort in terms of getting materials up there, so please, if you have any inkling or, and then the other one that's that we did last year, the Aaronic Council identifies a person from their council to participate, so there'll be another member from that council whenever they make that decision to be part of the Education Council.
And do the elders sustain that, or is that just appointed by the Aaronic Council?
That's just going to be the Aaronic.
Okay.
Yeah, we voted on having a member from the Aaronic
Right.
Council, so
Okay.
yeah.
All right, thank you, Brother Vim. Nominations for the Education Council. Mike Stevenson nominates Vim Horn. I think he's already nominated. Yeah. He's up there. Brother Don? Bob Bobbitt, I think he's up there as well. Yeah. Do we need to turn more lights off up there on the stage to help make that easier to read? Please. Brother Vim?
I'd nominate Brother Rich, if he's willing.
Brother Richard Neal?
No,
Oh,
Brother Rich Rowland.
Rich Rowland, sorry. Rich Rowland? Okay, he accepts. Brother Vim nominates Rich Rowland. Next is the Youth Council. We have the nominations, the nominations that are up there were given to us by the Youth Council. we can add names to that if we have discussed it with them, but this is who they suggested. Does anybody have any youth council nominations? Mark, I think that there might be some names missing from that, because I thought that there were more. I'm going to double check the email that he sent me. I think that there are names missing that he gave us for that council. Brother Eric?
Mr. Chairman, to the members, these young people have really picked it up from what I understand. And we have one young man, priesthood member from Kenya, Victor Bryan, who is always attending their meetings as much as possible on the youth Zoom platform. And so I do not know if we could try seeing how that could work this year by having Victor Bryan be a part of that, be nominated to be a part of that council. And if it doesn't work, then we could just drop it next year. But if it's okay, then we could have him be a part of that.
So you'd like to nominate?
Please, Victor Bryan.
Victor Bryan?
Yes.
Okay.
Bryan.
Victor Bryan.
Yeah.
Okay. Victor Bryan. Sean?
Apologies on the timing. Education Council, I just saw the message. I would nominate Larry Cottrell. He said he'd be willing to.
Okay. He must have texted that list to me, and I don't have my phone with me, but we'll get those names added that before we approve or when we vote on the councils, we'll get those other names added. Because I'm pretty sure that he had his name on there as well, Sam Jordison. But I want to verify that before we actually put his name there. Oh, he's already on there. You're right. So, okay. Never mind. So education, what's after you? Oh. And we'll get this printed up and distributed to everybody before the business session tomorrow. Mark, what do you have after the youth council? So see the names listed presented by the Women's Council. Remember, was it 2 years ago that we passed a resolution that they would designate their own members? Barb, can you make sure that that's accurate based off of this? I believe this is what Monica sent me. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Brother Bim?
Yeah, just for consideration, it might be helpful to identify those that are continuing on when you do the final sheet, those that we're not voting on and those that we are voting on. Barb, can you indicate that now?
So it's on page 3 of section 3, page 3.
Okay.
You have Amy Burke, Monica Rush, and Angie. Well, Angie's not on there, but so you'll have Amy Burke and Monica Rush continuing from the previous year. Next page. Well, that works too, but that one's easier to tell. What's the next council? I think we have Aaronic and Gathering next. Which one? And Publications. Publications was what was next. So we have enough nominations to fill that. We can certainly have more if there's somebody on your mind, but this is what they've discussed within themselves, who they would like to continue on. Do we have any additional nominations for Publications Council? Okay. The Gathering Council was organized last year during conference, and I don't know that I don't remember that we identified how many years those terms would be. So everybody that was nominated last year were the first ones on that council.
Yeah, just some information on that. During our coordinating council meetings, Aaron Smith was involved in that council, and he approached the coordinating council. That whole concept needs to be refined. It just didn't get off the ground, and we didn't. Last year, we approved the council, but those folks that kind of initially got involved with it just lacked some direction and that sort of thing. And I think we decided as a coordinating council, and it's something that needs to go forward for the new coordinating council, is to define that council a little bit better.
So we have the council and the open spots for nominations if we have names for that. But there was lack of direction, understanding in what their purpose was. Do we have any nominations for the Gathering Council? Seeing none. We have the Aaronic Council, I think is the last one, certainly not the least. Very impressed with the activity of them as well, and the retreats that they've done and other things that they've accomplished. We have nominations before you from the Aaronic Council. Do we have any other names that we want to add to that? Brother Bob?
Michael Delk.
Michael Delk. And I assume you've talked to him?
I will before tomorrow.
Okay. Make a note next to that one. Still needs assent. Any other nominations for the Aaronic Council?
I would do the same thing Bob just did and offer up Ben Lidberg,
Ben Lidberg.
but I'll talk to Ben.
Vim Horn nominates Ben Lidberg, pending his approval. There's another young deacon with us who said he would be willing to, if somebody's willing to nominate him. He's not currently in the room. I think he's up helping with the sound system.
What's his name, and I'll nominate him.
Moroni.
Moroni. I nominate Moroni.
Oh, is he on there? Okay, he's on there. Never mind. I need to read that. Last time I looked, he wasn't, so. Any other nominations for the Aaronic Council? Seeing none. Next for the agenda would be new business, and Rich, for clarification. Can I ask for him for clarification really quick?
Absolutely.
Okay. For clarification, in your your quorum report, it wasn't clear if your quorum wanted to bring Resolution 1 to the floor, or if you were just, what did you want to do? So if you could clarify what you said.
Jeremy?
It wasn't clear to me. Yes.
Point of order, I think we still have a technology council, or did we disband that?
Oh, did we skip over?
That's what I wasn't on the sheet.
Forgive me. Yep. So, okay. Technology Council.
Technology Council was left out, and I have not spoken to him, but I'd like to see if Spencer Hughes would serve on that this next year. Nominate him. If he can give his thumbs up or thumbs down, maybe. I'm not sure where he is.
It's not on my list. That's why I missed it. It's not on my page.
It's not on the page.
Okay. Thank you. Spencer Hughes was nominated for that. I don't think he's currently here. So that's pending his assent. Mark McCormick's been nominated by Don Norman. Mark, are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Is Sean Teljohn still on it? If not, I would nominate to Sean, Benji Pedersen, nominating Sean Teljohn.
He declines, respectfully. Any other nominations for the Tech Council? I don't know why it's not on the sheet, so I don't know who's, Sean, do you know who's carrying over from last year?
I don't believe there are any carryovers.
Okay. So it's on the same cycle as the Gathering Council then? Okay. Do you happen to know anybody else on the council that was willing to?
I have not spoken to anybody. I'll do some reach out.
Okay. Any other nominations for Tech Council? Anybody comes to mind? Yes, Brother Doug?
Just wondering, should we make this for a 2-year term instead of just for 1 year by year?
That'd require a motion to change that. But we'll cover that in new business, so keep that thought. We have a conference going on back here. Yes, Brother Don. Andrew Neal. Have we spoken to him? Okay. Pending his approval, Andrew Neal. Anyone else? So we have 3 nominations for the Technology Council. Okay, seeing no more. Brother Eric?
Chairman, I do not know what we think about this or how to go about this, but I was thinking that domestic missionary, international missionary, that these councils need to have, if we have any 70s in our midst, then they need to be automatic members of these councils. I think that's their office, that's their place. So I don't know how to go about either proposing or just stating that the members should be able to consider that, think about that. Yeah.
So thank you, Brother Eric. That is one thing. The International Missionary Outreach Board are all appointed by the missionary boards, ARMED and SEAM and JIM. Lamb is no longer associated with us as of this past year. So missionary boards, you know who you are. We need to have members appointed to this council. So if you could, okay, that would require a motion when we get to new business. So I see what you're saying. You want to make it a requirement that or not a requirement, but you would like the 70s to be part of that council. Okay. And certainly the missionary boards, if the 70s are part of a missionary board, they could be appointed to that. But I see what you're saying now. Thank you. So nominations closed? If nobody's opposed to that. Brother Dale?
I just have a question. Do members of the missionary boards need to be approved under, I know they're nominated or set by the board, but do they need to be sustained or approved or by the committee or by the conference or not?
They do not. The question was, do the appointed members of the International Missionary Board have to be sustained by the Elders Conference?
I really meant, do the individual board members have to be sustained by the conference?
Okay.
They don't actually, you're
No.
not actually voting for them, but the boards get their own membership, but do they need to be addressed or sustained or whatever?
Yeah, they've been treated as self-perpetuating boards, and they have the authority just to approve who that would be.
That was my question.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to new business. What was the...
Hey, Jeremy.
The question that you asked earlier, and I don't know if Rich wants to stand up, but it was the quorum's intent for that to be put in, it was approved and moved forward, and I would ask that copies of that revised be shared with the quorums so that they look at the revised form and not the original.
Janet, can you make some copies for me, please? This here. So quorum, you'd made the motion, Brother Vim? Is that,
No, that
No,
wasn't
you
the
just-
motion, that was, the report was to move that forward.
okay. So the intent was to move it forward, so we'd need a motion to bring that to the floor.
Yeah, at the appropriate time that the chair chooses, he can bring that up, and then there can be a motion for consideration.
Okay. So I would choose to bring that to the floor if we have a motion to consider, once it gets to you, we're getting a copy of this, as revised by quorum number 3. I sent it to Mark. Mark, did you receive that? So you can put it up on the screen. Sent it to you this morning, and I got rid of it, so I don't remember what it's titled.
Brother Chairman, I would make a motion that unless there's additional business, that we move into our quorum time to allow the quorums to look at the revised motion, but also continue looking at the other motion and have time to consider and move forward on that way, and then bring it back.
So Brother Vim moves that we go ahead and close the business session and move into a quorum's discussions to further discuss the resolutions before us. Is that?
Yeah, unless there's other business you want to bring forward besides that.
So Eric had a thought, or something that he wanted, and there was somebody else that had a thought. Oh, it was Doug, what was it that you said? 2-year term for the Technology Council. So we can entertain a motion for that.
I'd like to make a motion that the Technology Council be appointed for 2 years.
We have a second from Brother Jay.
Just for continuity, so we're not going year to year, and if someone wants to come off, they can put some people on, but just as a framework, have it for 2 years.
Okay. Motion to add a term to the Technology Council of 2 years for those members. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Brother Eric?
I also bring the motion that the 70s be automatic members of the available 70s be automatic members of both the domestic and international missionary boards or councils.
So the motion on the floor.
Mission councils, yeah.
Motion by Brother Eric Odita that the available 70 be ex officio members of the domestic or the International Missionary Board. Do we have a second? Seconded by Jay Havener. Any discussion?
I just wanted to say that in our state, our current state, being that their numbers are also few, but that they're calling, and as much as we have them, we'd better benefit from the ministry that they bring, or their wisdom and understanding that they have, their experiences too.
Brother Brian?
I've just got a point of order. I'm maybe confused. I thought Vim made a motion that we were going to move into that, then it just kind of got dropped.
He said if there was no additional business to cover.
So what other additional business we still got to cover?
That's what we're covering right now. The
New business then?
Yeah, new business. Thank you. So we have motion second. Do we have any discussion on the motion on the floor? The motion was that the available 70 be made ex officio members of the International Missionary Board, or Council, sorry. International Missionary Council. And domestic, okay.
The available 70?
Available 70.
Yeah, I think that limits that to one man.
Well, actually,
We have two.
We have two.
We have two. So again, restating the motion that the available 70 be made ex officio members of both the International Missionary Council and the Domestic Missionary Council.
Is this the same?
No, it's been revised by,
Oh, okay, so
no,
that's your original.
I gave you the original one. I didn't give you the revised one.
You revised.
Sorry.
I'm with you. All right.
There it is. I knew I had it here. Okay. Do we have any discussion on the resolution on the floor? Brother Doug?
I was just going to say, I mean, Frank's already on the domestic and Rich is in SEAM, so I mean, they're technically already there, but I think this just kind of formalizes the fact that we acknowledge that their calling and the need for that in those councils.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Brother Jay?
No.
Oh. Seeing no more discussion, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor of the motion on the floor? All opposed? Motion carries. Now we have a motion on the floor to move into our quorum meetings to discuss the resolution revised by quorum 3 and other discussions that still need to be happening to go into quorum meetings. And do we have a second on that? Brian Mundy seconds. Any discussion on that? All right. All in favor? All opposed? Okay. Motion carries. We will now go into our quorum meetings. And we will get copies of the revised from quorum 3 to you as soon as it comes off the printer. My apologies for giving her the wrong one. Yes, sir.
Quorum 3 makes them Swanson Roll. We'll be in here, for instance, they're getting ready for lunch.
Let's have the quorum 3 go up to the library, and I'll go unlock that for you. Up to the library, up the stairs here. Everybody know where that is? Yep. So quorum 3 can go up to the library. If you don't know, follow somebody that does. Where did you say quorum 3? The library? Before you leave, we have copies right here. So come see Janet so she doesn't have to hop over the sanctuary to get a copy of that. Yes, I can do that.
Do you need one? Got one? You got one?
This is
This is the new one. I can take that one.
Brian's revised.
No, I think that's been revised.